to really remember that this person who's in the White House promised a whole lot of people who supported him and voted for him that he would do one thing, which is bring down costs and prices.
He did.
And he lied to them. And we need to remember that as we move forward with...
Hey, what is up, YouTube? It is me, Quadesia Rivers, and I am back with a brand new video. So we are going to watch Kamala Harris' first interview since her campaign. Kamala Harris was the Democrat nominee who was running against Donald Trump. Unfortunately, she lost against Donald Trump. We're going to watch an interview together. What are my views about Kamala Harris? I personally don't have a problem with who she is in particular, but on the campaign run, I just hate how she just lied in front of our faces about what her true policies are. Most of her policies was just reverberating what Biden was doing in his campaign or wanted to do in his campaign. And when asked, y'all watched the video, when asked on The View, is there anything she would like to do differently if she were president, she couldn't think of anything. And as you can see, our country was kind of plummeting at that point. In most of the interviews, she just wasn't concrete in her answering. And it was mostly word vomit and word salad. I think she was just saying what we wanted to hear, but when we know deep down that there's some policies that she was shooting for that didn't necessarily meet her motives. Like, for instance, the fracking. She was totally against fracking, and then all of a sudden in the 2024 campaign, she was just like completely for fracking in our own country instead of investing into gas or oil in other countries and foreign countries. So she was just changing up a lot and wasn't being consistent throughout her campaign, and it's pretty evident. The results are pretty evident of why she lost. Another reason why I really didn't like Harris is that she wasn't really resourceful with her finances, and it was very evident after running that all she did was try to recruit or try to endorse so many celebrities, and when it was time to pay up, she barely had enough to pay them. And it didn't make any sense because I think she like raised over $20 billion, and she was already like out of money. So it wouldn't make any sense if she can't control or micromanage finances at a micro level, then who's to say that she can do it at a macro level? I'm glad she didn't become president. It's pretty, and hopefully in this interview we can dive deeper into why.
You say, I predicted all of that, I warned of it. What I didn't predict was the capitulation. The billionaires lining up to grovel, the big media companies, universities, so many major law firms, I will note, including your husband's.
Yeah, and he spoke out about it.
He's been very vocal in criticizing it. He said they've all been bending to blackmail and outrageous demands.
Yeah.
Why did you not predict the capitulation? And what do you make of the effort to try to put some steel in the spine of those institutions?
So, as you know, I am a lifelong public servant. And but I've worked closely with the private sector over many years. And I always believed that if push came to shove, those titans of industry would be guardrails for our democracy, for the importance of sustaining democratic institutions. And one by one, they have been silent. They have been, yes, I use the word feckless. It's not like they're going to lose their yacht or their house in the Hamptons. And here's the thing. Democracy sustains capitalism. Capitalism thrives in a democracy. And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen the demonstration of it.
I'm gonna just stop it right there because she's saying a lot of just reverberating like stuff that we want, well, I think her viewers will want to hear, but not being factual. And this is like the kind of narrative that like the Democrats do. They really do a good job just trying to criticize someone's character, but don't bring facts about it. So for instance, she says that he is a communist dictator. Okay, what evidence can you prove to me that shows that? Because at this point, I think he hasn't been doing that. And one example I can give you is that the whole transgender ideology. Of course, a lot of people on the left side are saying that transgender women are women, and because of this, the whole idea of whether or not transgender women should share the same bathroom as biological women has always been in the conversation. But now we're at a point where, okay, our administration, our current administration, the Trump administration, has signed an executive order that states that there's only two genders, both male and female. And because of this, it makes us tap into those whole bathroom policies, right? So if we're stating facts and he's doing this to ensure the safety of all biological women, then what about that makes that a communist dictator? Let me bring up another example too. So the TikTok ban, remember that in January of 2025? So people were so scared about that being banned, and at one point it was banned for a good hour or two, and then Trump was able to extend that deadline to, I think it was originally, I forgot what it was originally extended to, but now it has been extended to December, right? But he's not getting credit where credit is due, because he is a president, regardless of what your views are or what your point of views are. He always supports everyone's First Amendment rights, where everyone is entitled to free speech, right? And we all know that TikTok is a heavy app where people on the right side get criticized for their point of views, and oftentimes they get blocked or their content gets terminated because of them speaking facts on a certain subjects. So he's all about freedom of speech, right? He's a president that is all about that, and it's pretty evident by extending extending this deadline on TikTok. Not only that, but a lot of business workers, a lot of entrepreneurs are utilizing TikToks to boost their business, to promote their products. So and he understands that plays into the role of capitalism, right? Because that's what our administration is all about. We're all about being less government dependent. The whole point of her saying communist dictator, we have to really look and dissect what that actually means before spreading that out. Because at this point, I think you and I still have the same rights as we did before he even got into office. And I'm a Black woman.
To really remember that this person who's in the White House promised a whole lot of people who supported him and voted for him that he would do one thing, which is bring down costs and prices.
He did.
And he lied to them. And we need to remember that as we move forward with the next series of elections, and midterms are around the corner, that it's not just about him by himself. There were others around him who perpetuated that same promise and have not followed through. They're about to go into negotiations around the continuing resolution, the budget. And I know that leaders Schumer and Jeffries are going to meet with the president, I think in the Oval Office. And good for them to go there and ask Donald Trump, the president of the United States, to justify why he is proposing to cut Medicaid. why he is willing to shut down the government for the sake of putting on the backs of working people the tax cut he gave to the richest people in America.
Do you think that Democrats should vote to allow the government to shut down in order to try to extract concessions from Trump on these matters?
It won't be the Democrats who are shutting it down. It will be the Republicans. The Democrats are doing the job that any elected leader should do, which is to say, we're not going to do the bidding of the President of the United States at the sacrifice of our constituents' health care.
She's kind of like slurring a little bit. It's pretty evident, very evident, that Donald Trump has been putting in a lot of work since he took office. And he was handed a lot to him when he took on that role. First of all, they had over, I think it was 20 million immigrants, illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants who have came across the U.S. because of the open border policy that Harris signed. And that was one thing she was appointed as VP to take care of anything that was going on in the border, and she did a poor job going there, like doing her job. So, and not only that, because those loose policies has also harmed, I can't talk. Those policies has really affected the American people. What they don't dissect that I don't like on the Democratic side is what's actually happening when people are crossing the US border. They are subject to a lot of abuse, and they're doing a poor job talking about it. And because of Trump's policies on closing the border, we've been able to decrease and been able to take control of that, and being able to really protect American citizens too, especially when it comes to jobs. Like, everyone is really beating up Trump about, remember the thing, they were beating him up about black jobs, but the reality is a lot of undocumented immigrants will come over to the US and take over these jobs that were mainly populated by black people. Y'all should watch the whole clip. It's on MSNBC. You can watch it on there. Y'all tell me what your thoughts are below. Do you agree with most of the things that I said? If you want more content like this, please subscribe, give this video a like, and also leave a comment. What are your overall thoughts about Kamala Harris? Do you think she did a good job running her policies? I can talk so much about her if I wanted to. I can make this video over an hour long if I wanted to talk about her or why I did not vote for her. But what is your overall thoughts about who she is and how she ran her campaign? And hopefully, I'm so glad. I think she said somewhere in this video, because I was watching other people's commentaries about this video, that she doesn't see herself running in 2028 right now. She might consider being governor of California, but overall she said that's not a topic of discussion or something she see herself doing, which is a good decision to make. I think there could have been other people who could have obviously took her spot as a Democratic nominee, like AOC. Even AOC, I feel like AOC, a lot of her policies I don't really agree with, a lot of her views I don't agree with, but she's very communicative. She is very persuasive in her language, and I just think she's very straightforward about what her views are, whereas Kamala Harris, it just seemed like word salad, especially during her campaign. Like, a lot of people just wanted to get answers and want to get an idea of what her direct policies are, and she couldn't really state that. So, but anyway, thank y'all so much for watching this video, and bye guys.